Guys, what's going on? It's Dave, Mr. Wireless One. Thank you for joining me on the side of the house here. And man, it is hotter than a freaking mug out here. Anyway, so I just put on some SPF 8 gazillion. See if it'll hold me over for an hour or two. And just put the kid down for a nap. Pull my tarp off of here. I'm sure my neighbors love me. Look, she's all like half exposed. Anyways, they're probably like, what is going on over there? But anyways, once we beautify it, it's going to be pretty good. So anyways, I appreciate all the responses and the thumbs up and the likes and all the comments from the introduction video, and I appreciate that. So True Dead Man, he told me that, you know, I was explaining that noise that I was hearing kind of between the engine and the trans in that area, and he was like, you know, it's common on the 6 liters for the 6 liters and the 4L80 is for the flex plate to crack. And so I pulled the starter off and I freaking jabbed my hand up in there, and I could feel something. Felt like a crack, you know. It was like catching, like I could, you know, feel it. Anyways, my hands are all still dirty from that. And so I put my borescope up there where I was feeling, and I confirmed that it was cracked. So I wish I had one of those borescopes that recorded, but I do not. So anyway, so after that, I decided to just do some plugs and wires, and let me get my tarp off so we can look at it while we're talking. Alright, so the plugs and wires that were in here, they all looked good with the exception of number 3, sorry, all the wires were kind of okay. They were a little bit old, and none of them had the heat shield on them. And the reason these don't have heat shields on them is because they're like 45-degree boot, and I don't know why I ordered them that way, but I don't know, I'll have to get some different ones, because I always like running like the factory heat shields on those. Just keeps from having any problems. And so a couple of them were kind of, they damaged when I was pulling them out. Like I would twist them and then pull on them, and a couple of them, like the little electrode, whatever on the bottom, it just pulled out of the connector, pulled out onto the spark plug. And so anyway, so I figured, I was like, you know what, let's just throw some plugs and wires. So I went and stole these TR55s out of the K20, out of the Iron LS1, put them in here, and then I started up, same thing, it feels the same, no difference. So then I put a different oil sender up in there, since we weren't reading oil pressure, and I figured out that there's a, I don't know, I probably don't know if I can get you back there to see. But anyways, on the plug, there's the 3-wire plug. One of the wires is broken, so I'm gonna have to. I'll probably just end up cutting that off and just splicing a whole new connector on, because it's so close to like the edge of the plug. I don't know, I guess I could push the pin out and solder it or whatever, but that would be a pain in the ass. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. But when I pulled the old sender out, I mean, it had oil and everything under the bottom of it. Like I said, I drove it across town, so I don't think it's going to be an issue. So anyway, sorry, we got a little bit of wind going, so hopefully it's not killing this camera is really bad with the wind. But anyhow, that's it. And my battery, I don't know, it seemed to start it and everything yesterday, so maybe it just needed a good cruising. But anyways, so today what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull these valve covers off. So that'll tell me a lot about what's going on. I could potentially have because it's hard to hear, you know, with that noise that it's making. It, you know, I mean, it could be like a bent push rod, it could be a loose rocker arm, and it could be a bent valve. And what was it? The Happy Builder, he commented on it and said that, you know, I think he works at a machine shop or something. I don't know, but he was saying that he sees a lot of these with bent valves, and I have my first LS1 that I had in my Camaro. I went to the track one day, and I didn't even feel anything happen, but it bent a push rod, bent 2 push rods, and it actually, I bent the push rods. I drove it for another 80,000 after I put new push rods in, and when I finally rebuilt the engine, one of the valves was bent. Probably not bent enough to cause any like serious problems, but it was bent. So anyways, let's do that. I think that's before I go doing anything else. Let's just pull the valve covers off, because that's going to tell us a lot about what's going on, and pretty easy to get to, and hopefully this sun don't frickin' kill me before we get them off. So let's work on that now. Alright, I pulled this side apart and all the rockers were tight and all the push rods are straight, so I don't see anything crazy over here, so I'm gonna cover this side up real quick and move on to the passenger side, and we'll see if we find anything crazy. Alright guys, also remember, once you get done with that last bolt in the back above number 8 cylinder, throw it away, the coil pack thing, throw it out. Don't even mess with that stupid thing no more. Stupid thing. Alright guys, so pulled the coil packs, pulled the valve cover, rockers. All the rockers were nice and tight. I pulled out all of the push rods. All the push rods were straight, none of them were bent. Typically what I found is if I got a bent valve, I usually got a bent push rod, but I don't see that in this case. I don't know how far I'm going to tear it down. I think what I should do is just because I don't really want to pull this engine out. I mean, if it's something simple, but I didn't have any codes other than a P0141, which was just a bank 2 02 that it's probably got a open wire or something like that. So anyways, yeah, I don't know. There's something going on. Something is causing it to misfire. So I'm gonna pull the cam out, and probably tonight. Right now it's getting so hot I can't freaking touch them. I set my wrench down for 2 seconds and I touch it and it burns my damn hands. So yeah, so I'll just make a video, get inside, kick back for a little while, and then we'll come out tonight. And on these trucks here, on my Avalanche, I pulled the cam out of it one time, and I was able to get it in and out without moving the condenser and stuff. I just ended up moving just taking the radiator out. So probably a good idea to take this out. I'll evaluate the hoses, probably take and hose it out a little bit just to make sure, or hose the fins out and get all the dirt and stuff out of it. Probably a good idea. And then I might come over here later on and clean the condenser, but I don't see a whole lot going on in it. So that's it, we're just troubleshooting. If you guys have any ideas, shoot them over to me. Yeah, I'll pull the cam out, I guess, see how it is. And then if it looks like there's problems with it, then we'll pull the heads off, put new lifters in it, and see if we got any, we'll double check all the valves. I'll put some new springs on them, and we'll go from there. So I think that's my plan of action right now. If if it looks like the cam is like completely like gone, like it's thrashed and the lifter's just busted to hell, I'm gonna just pull this engine and I'll put the iron LS1 up in here, and then we'll tear this down and rebuild it. I just want to have the LS1 in here just so that I can take it up to Moab. So that's kind of like my main goal. So I'm just trying to like troubleshoot it to see what's going on. So if you guys have any suggestions, like I said, so no other codes, but I figured I'd start with just kind of like the common stuff here, and just pulling the valve cover usually tells you a lot. Everything looked well oiled. Nothing looked, the oil's a little dirty, but it's not like super black. Everything looked well oiled in there. I'll show you. I'll unwrap this here. But yeah, so everything looks really good. So I ain't sweating it really, unless there's a problem with the cam. I guess I could put these back in and crank it over and watch everything go up and down. But with it being like, if it's just a little bit of damage, I might not see it. So yeah, I don't know. So I'm gonna just let everything kick back. I'll probably take these into the garage and let them chill out, and then we'll get back on it, definitely.